Hi, this is William Green, and this video I want to talk about my reaction as a Lawrence resident to the decapitated body that was found, and this horrific tragedy that's befallen his family. As a dad and as a city resident, it's alarming. It is alarming that this has happened here, and I think that the reaction, the response, law enforcement response has been inadequate, and I think that the department wasn't prepared for this. Now, the following statements do not represent the opinions or the policies or anything of the city, but we are going to talk about those things. This is my personal opinion. And to be quite honest with you, for some of these things that are happening, some things that I've already identified, sometimes I don't even want to be a cop anymore. I honestly don't see, the point in it. I don't see the point in being a cop anymore. We've got some serious danger in the city. So this tragedy highlights or is a sign of a greater problem, a much greater problem. And that starts at the top. When you have a mayor that violates the city charter, violates the laws and the constitution of the city, the state, and the country, that's a problem. And when you as a leader do not follow the rule of law, you create chaos in the community where you are that leader. As I said, it's a sign of a larger problem, that something very dark and evil has taken up residence, or at least visited, this city. Something evil and dark has visited Lawrence. Do you remember the Market Street murder? 16-year-old kid on Market Street. I don't even know if it's solved yet, but there are some similarities. These are gruesome acts. They're brutal. They're savage. They are barbaric. And it should signal to us that there is a real problem that has gone unchecked for a very long time. We just found out that they made an arrest, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing because we do not have a savage murderer on the loose, hopefully, if he turns out to be the suspect or suspects. And where's the outrage? Where is the outrage? I'm speculating now, but one, I don't believe this to be a random act. I believe it to be gang-related, though I can't confirm that. I have no knowledge whatsoever from the police department or knowledge professionally, but I believe that because the age, it's a young age to be brutally murdered the way that we see in other countries, in third world countries. We don't see this in the United States. Why are we seeing this now? It is uncommon. I watched the press conference from the Valley Patriot, and you can go online to the Valley Patriot and view the press conference yourself in its entirety. And it was embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing. The mayor, the chief. It was just terrible. It was just terrible. You know what? I recommend that you go on and watch that video. And if you're not outraged after that, then I don't know what to tell you. One of the things that I think that Mayor Rivera needs to remember, he is the mayor, and we should respect him as the mayor. But the reality is he was candidate X versus Lantigua. There's a quote. Someone up in the mayor's neighborhood, probably 2 streets over, was walking his dog and told my wife that he would have voted for Daffy Duck over Lantigua. So that alone, him being candidate X, doesn't instill confidence in me. And I didn't see in the press conference the leadership that is required. Because the way that we evaluate someone's leadership qualities and capabilities and competence is under stress. It's when the world goes to hell and you step up and respond and don't run away, or turn hostile. How do you react? Do you follow your training? You should. If you have no experience in crisis, then let someone who has the experience handle it. It was poorly handled, in my opinion. So at the press conference, he goes on to subtly create doubt in the community's mind in the competence and abilities of the governor, whom he hadn't even called. So he didn't even know what information the governor had about this. Not only that, the governor is far removed from a fast developing incident on the street here in one of hundreds of towns that he oversees. What does the governor have to do with any of this? Absurd. The DA and the state, they are law enforcement professionals. They're handling it. They're doing what's required. Somehow they didn't feel the need to call a press conference. They were working on the case. And I got to tell you, the fact that he wanted someone to get on it and identify the body, guess what? This was a gruesome murder. Everyone wants it solved. The gravity of the situation is lost on no one. It wasn't beneficial to the investigation, to the agencies investigating, to the victims, or anyone else in the community to suggest that they weren't doing their job, as subtle as it was. You can't begin the investigation without identifying the body. That's step number one. And they wanted this solved yesterday. So they're competent enough to know that. Our leaders should be competent enough to know that they know that. We've had 3 years of unfulfilled promises, and it's the culmination in this. This tragedy could not have been avoided. That's just a fact. We don't know what the circumstances were. I don't know what they are that led up to this tragedy, but it's possible that they could not have been avoided. But what could be avoided is the mishandling of the investigation at its genesis, and we're going to get to that at the investigation as it started at the police department when the missing report was taken. But 3 years, and it's culminating in this absolute, irrefutable demonstration of incompetence across the board. He has no message. He had no message for the suspects. This should have been a strong message for the suspects. We're coming to get you. There is justice for the family. We are going to find you. That should have been the message, a message of strength and determination that we are going to protect Lawrence. We are going to protect ours. And that didn't come. And I was at a loss. If you're not willing to step up and lead, if the chief of police can't say that, who says it? I'm saying it now. And the state police, they went out and they did their job and they made an arrest. So we do have competent law enforcement professionals working for us, working for justice and in our city. You know, the fact that he demonstrated absolute ignorance about MS-13 is another scary, alarming fact. Lawrence is 75% Latino. MS-13 is a Latin American gang. I cannot responsibly draw a connection between MS-13 and what happened here. I can't, because I have no information that would support a statement like that. But what I can say is this: when you are the leader of a community that with 75% Latin American residents, and you have a very violent, real gang that was birthed in Latin America, the threat is real. The threat is real. You have to be aware. And do I believe that MS-13 is here? Yes. And if any other cop in the department is telling you that they don't know, well then replace them. Replace them, because I'm telling you that I believe they're here and have for several years. And I'm not alone. There are other cops that believe the same thing. So if we know this, why don't our superiors know this? And why doesn't the mayor know this? There's a breakdown in leadership. The structure is broken. So about the investigation and about the leadership, what resources, as you stated in the press conference, have been made available? How much money has been released for overtime? How many additional patrol officers? How many additional detectives are working? And if not to investigate, how about increased patrols? No one wants to shake your hand after the fact. Let the cops do their job. Send more guys out there to prevent this. Had there been an extra cop who'd run into these guys, could he have sensed that something was wrong? I don't know. No one can say yes or no to that. But you can say that in good faith, we put more guys on the street because clearly something bad is active. Something evil is active in this city. And the truth is, we have an opportunity as a community. We're either going to accept that this is going to be our new normal. I don't want this to be my new normal. This cannot be baseline Lawrence anymore. Lawrence has always been that way. Well, guess what? Lawrence has never been this way. Lawrence has never been this way. Someone referenced Willie Horton. Willie Horton was a nut. He was a psychopath, a sociopath, a lone wolf. I don't believe that this was just a lone wolf type of thing. My opinion, not backed up by any facts. But when you have a leader of a city that doesn't recognize or isn't aware of very real threats, then we're all in danger. And I'm not over-evaluating that. We're all in danger when there's a leader who doesn't know what one of the most recognized, most violent gangs is. MS-13, and if you Google it, you'll probably find the same headlines, glorifies violence above all else. And their murders have been characterized as being brutal. You should be aware. It's a national problem. It's known in other states. And there's a response in other states. And if someone questions, William, why are you doing this? It's because the community needs to know. The community needs to be safe. I put up a video several weeks ago, a warning for the West Street residents. That was because there were sexual assaults that I believe represented a pattern. But there was no warning from the police department. As a matter of fact, it was only printed in the Eagle Tribune. And how many? I believe there were more rapes than I was aware of at the time that I made the warning. And I couldn't put that information out because, well, it could harm any potential investigation. But then they printed it in the Tribune, and what do you know? Things are happening in the city, and someone is asleep at the wheel. It's at the top. It really is at the top. And it's frustrating to be at the bottom, to be as a resident and a police officer dealing with these type of things. It's very frustrating because I want the best for my family. I live here. And I'm telling you that we're not receiving the best. Other residents, we're not receiving the best. And we're receiving lots of promises. And a lot of people, want to run for mayor or would like to be politicians, promised that they're going to fix the police department because that's what the mayor, Riveras, did. He wanted to fix the police department, going to get rid of bad cops. He said, I was one of those bad cops. It's been 3 years and your time in office has been characterized by trying to fire me because I wanted to recall you, because I find you to be incompetent. But the evidence bears this out. And that goes to the next step. And I don't know if we should hold the chief accountable for this or not, but there's no missing policy. If there is, please show me. I went to the academy in 2005. I have never seen it. I have the rules and regulations. I know what I can do. I know that I cannot ask about discipline, but they never have to tell you, when, let's say you get written up for something, you can't inquire as to the disposition or the status of that. And they're not obligated, according to the rules and regulations. There's no provision that obligates them to notify you. So there's no missing policy and procedure. There are rules that control officer behavior. but there are no policies or protocols that tell officers how to interface with the public. So this isn't an individual officer problem. This is an organizational problem, a departmental problem. Because if you ask 5 cops the same question, you're going to get 5 different answers on something that should not be discretionary or subjective. When it's a missing persons report, it should initiate a response. We should have a threat or risk assessment form that we complete, because we have a lot of kids here that are in DCF custody, foster homes, group homes, and sometimes they run away, for a party, at the weekend, weekend party. They come back. And if we can track, hey, this kid has run away 17 times their time that they've been in DCF custody, they're probably going to come back. That's where we need some help from, let's say, DCF and the social workers, so that we can track, all right, is this kid a runaway? But what are some other things? There were some pretty alarming facts that came out, again, on social media, that the kid, Lee, left his cell phone and wallet. That triggers a response in me. Hey, that's odd. Why would someone leave their phone? And I've taken probably more missing reports than any of my peers. And when I found something alarming, or a plus factor that increased my alertness or my concern or my suspicion that there might be more to the missing, I send out an email. I notify my supervisor. I get a picture if I can, and I send it out. But there's no policy that dictates that should be done. For me, that's common sense. It's a common sense response to a problem that a family brings. There should be more done. There should be more. There should be a policy in place, and a response should be initiated. When you report someone missing, an officer is never dispatched to the location. Someone comes in, there's a one-page form, fill it out, and that files the missing. There are exceptions, small child, additional factors, that create more of a concern. Yes, but it's very infrequent. It's very rare. Officers just don't respond. And that's a problem, and that's a problem that the mayor and the chief and perhaps the captain of patrol should address in creating a policy and procedure that addresses this. And if you question this, and if you think, hey, William, this isn't true, this isn't how it is, go to City Hall. According to the city charter, the rules and regulations of every department are supposed to be on file at the city clerk's office. Go and verify what I'm saying is true or not. If they're on file, as they're supposed to be, as they should be, per city charter, then you'll be able to verify whether there is a missing persons policy. And if there is one, I've never seen it. I've never seen it. And I've taken many, many, many missing reports. And then, of course, the chief. First, why host a press conference if you have no information? You could have called everyone. I mean, twice, I think I heard twice, reporters call out, why are we here? One reporter said that the press release was pathetic. I read it. It was pathetic. And here's the other thing. Mr. Mayor, the victim's name here is Lee. Say his name. Don't call him the kid. He has a name. He has a mom. He has family. Do you really care? I didn't find you to be genuine. And then, is the chief your eunuch? I mean, that's who I want to hear from. I want to hear from the top cop. I want strength. I want leadership. I want to be told, don't be afraid. And I'm telling you now, so that's what I want to hear, because I was thinking, what do I tell my kids? What do you tell your kids? Don't be afraid. Do the right thing. Make good decisions, and you won't end up in a situation like that. We need to protect our kids, teach our kids. They're our responsibility, and they're afraid. Tell them that the cops are going to get the bad guys. Tell your kids that. Don't appear lost, because if you appear lost, then we appear lost as parents. And what are we supposed to tell our kids? when we're looking to you for leadership. So I'm telling you, as a cop and as a dad, don't be afraid. State police came in and they arrested someone. So hopefully we'll have a resolution of this soon and the family can grieve. Tell the community that the police department is going to remain vigilant. Get more money for overtime from the city so that there can be an increased visible presence. Make real motor vehicle stops. Document them. You know, I don't know what else to say. You know, really. Other than I saw a Facebook post on my feed the other day, and it was, I don't even know who it was. It was just a public post, but the writer, the poster said that, you know, they're just suffering everywhere. And you know what? I sense it too. How much more can this city bear? Increasing crime, poor leadership, this horrific tragedy, the Market Street one. Clearly, the methods that we're using aren't working. We've had 3 years to evaluate it. We've had 3 years to make things happen. When Mayor Rivera made Chief Fitzpatrick, you know, permanent, I said, why didn't he interview anyone else? And here's the problem. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with these problems that haven't been addressed. And I can demonstrate this. Now's not the time. These are the problems that have arisen because of this tragedy. Let's continue to show some support. Let's be civil, you know, in our criticisms, but also rational. I'm not blaming the mayor or the chief for this tragedy. It's irresponsible, and I can't do that in good conscience. But what I am holding them accountable for is their lack of responsiveness, the absence of a policy that would have initiated at least some sort of investigation. Because if there has been, or if there was some sort of investigation, that was conducted immediately. And I say immediately because if you look at the state law, if you look at the law that governs missings, just ask them. Because it's been several days, and I still haven't given my kids a convincing explanation. And that's in part because I'm still processing this whole mess. And, you know, if this doesn't get fixed, this problem doesn't get fixed, then I don't want to be a cop anymore. I don't want to be a part of a group that just doesn't care. We have all this authority, we have all this power and responsibility, but we haven't handled it well, and we haven't been responsible with it. And if we're so negligent that we don't even have basic policies in place that would at least be able to demonstrate that we did, in good faith, conduct an investigation into this missing, what's the point? What really is the point? So, if I do figure out what to say to my kids, I'll post it. Right now, all I'm telling them is that no bad guys are coming for them. It's still safe. A friend of mine called and asked if it was okay for our son to walk. Yeah, it's okay. Your son can walk. Safe is a relative term anyway. Our kids are not targets of this. But someone may be, because clearly someone already has. I don't want to be right, and I don't want to see this happen again. So as a community, what can we do? I'm asking you, what can we do? So, Joe Soy, William Green, subscribe. Don't like this video, because I don't like the subject matter. I don't like the content. And I don't like the new Lawrence reality. But we can change it. So subscribe to my channel, and Pray for Lawrence. Pray for the family. And as always, Joe Soy William Green.